Hey you guys, Danny here. We are doing March wrap up. Thank you, great goddess of all. I am so done with the first quarter of this year. Indescribable. So after this rotating, everybody's gonna catch something different. Everybody's gonna be down and out with some sort of sickness the beginning of this year. I am done. We had our bouts with it. It is time to move on. It got me so stuck in the mud in March. I felt like I haven't left the house in months because I virtually didn't, because we were constantly battling something. If it wasn't me, it was somebody else. So I was still here. So we're shaking that off. We're getting out. It's been beautiful weather so far. End of March, early April, except for today. Coincidentally, day 4, and we got those April showers. So I ain't mad at it though. I kind of like the rain. I can still get out in the rain. I still do get out in the rain. Anyway, so I really did not accomplish much in March. I'm gonna be honest. Now, I did read a lot of books. I listened to, well, I'll talk about them. I think I listened to 3 or 4, and then I read 2-ish. One was a comic book. So yeah, I did do that. So I felt a little bit accomplished on that front. As far as, let's start with tarot, like we usually do. What did we see in March? In March, we saw the Hidden Realm. Yes. We saw the Doreen Virtue Fairy Tarot. We saw, let's see, Dreaming Way. Oh, this is just a little box that I made for it. We saw the Dreaming Way, which is one of my faves. I love to use this. We saw that one. And we saw Tarot of the Secret Forest. And this is our double-sided deck. Let me see if I can pop one out. So all in all, I loved the cards that I use. Pretty much all of these that we used in March. The fairy tarot cards, well, I told y'all how I felt about that, whatever. But my overall favorite, if I have to give a favorite, I don't know, maybe the Hidden Realm, just because it stayed with me almost all month long. It was so, I don't know, comforting, that I think if I had to pick a winner, of March, it would probably be this deck. Because I also feel like every time I use it, it's the most surprising thing. Because just these faces, it's just faces basically on every card, and you're like, there's no way, but it's somehow super comforting and super expressive and everything else. So I say that this is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So that's what I have to say about tarot. I did keep up a lot better with my daily practice. However, I still feel like there's room for improvement, so I am working on that again this month. Next, what do we do? Okay, art. I really didn't do much art. I threw this together, I think, literally on the 31st. This was just some fun. See, look, I even got my fingerprints. This was just in my sketchbook. Me and Lennon played around with this. Let me see if I have her. I was flipping through some pictures on Pinterest, and I found this really cool girl with some glitter underneath her eye, and it was just really focused there. And I was like, oh, this is really neat. I just want to play with some glitter, because I never do, because I really hate glitter. So I was like, let's get out of our comfort zone. Let's do this. So me and Lennon played around with this one. And she did her version. This is the forehead. I love the fact that she draws the forehead. I think she did it for another one too. She's like, look, Mom, it's you. And she would make me look at her, and she's like, now I'm gonna draw your forehead. And it was just this big green box, and I was like, I freaking love it. Obsessed. Where is it at? Well, we got a hand. We have a hand. I'll show off her art. She did way more than I did. She also likes to cut things, so we have this, and then we have a crazy house. Her stuff is way cooler than mine. Oh, I did draw some emojis for her, in which she colored. Where's my face? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Are y'all ready? I don't know if you're ready for this. It's got a good resemblance, yeah? I even got a, wait, did she put it on the right side? Yeah, I even got a nose ring. Some really big eyes. They're pretty intense. A lot of glitter going on, really colorful forehead. I think she did a good job. So, Lennon was rocking it out for me. She totally was. I plan on doing quite a bit this month, though. I pulled the paper off the big canvas today. I'm doing it! I'm doing it! So, I'm going to be doing a lot more this month. I feel ready to go. So, that was that. Now, the only other kind of like art that I did, of course, was in the bullet journal, which I just loved. The eyes of March. It was just fun. I really did enjoy drawing all these little, I mean, technically wasn't it in February, the end of February, right? So, did it even count? Probably not, but that's okay. So yeah, so I have all these little doodles that, of course, I did. This bullet journal, though, this one, this proves it. Look at this. This is what I did in March. Look at all the emptiness. Oh, man. It was like all month, y'all. I got sick right here. Oh, look. Flu. I got the invoice done and the flu on the 4th. Oh, yay, March. So let's talk about books, because that's really all we're going to be doing here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the comic book, because it's the only physical book that I put in my hands. The other book that I read was on my iPad. So I read this comic. It was the comic number 1. I think Jacob either found it for me or bought it for me when we lived in Dallas. And I've been having it. I started it and then I put it down maybe because we were moving. I don't even know. But I read it. Anyway, I read it. It was really good. But it left me hanging. So I'm like debating upon whether or not I should try to find the other ones. Because we ended with Rose being lost. Spoilers. I love the Doctor. So it was just fun. A fun little thing to read before bed one night. And yeah, I read a comic. I'm not usually a comic book reader. I've literally only read one other graphic novel, like full graphic novel. And I don't remember the name of it, but it was like Swirls. It was like Swirl. I will put the name of it below. It was creepy. It freaked me out, and I loved it. I just never pick it up. I don't know it enough to like, oh, I'm going to read this one. And I really don't want to be disappointed. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a graphic novel reader, so it's something really out of my comfort zone. So that would be one that I would need suggestions. Somebody suggested it to me, and I read it, and I loved it. So if you got some creepy, I think it's Japanese, I could be wrong, but I think it's Japanese horror graphic novels, I'm about it. Let me know. So yeah, moving on. Second book I read was amazing. Let me see if you can see. This is, oh, I do it every time. Okay. Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and other lessons from the crematory. I almost said other stories. This is by Caitlin Doughty. She is a YouTuber. Ask a Mortician is who she is. I loved this book on so many levels. It left me a little shook. I don't want to say like bad, but like there are just some passages in there that just kind of left me reeling and left me with so much stuff in my head. I feel like she always talks about really important things, not only on her YouTube, but she talks about a lot of it in here, and that's just about how we as a society kind of detach ourselves from death to a point where it's like everything is behind the scenes, nobody talks about it, nobody looks at it, nobody sees it on the daily unless you work in something that shows this other side to being human, I guess you would say. Not like in other countries where sometimes people live with their dead for a really long time before they perform their funeral rites and stuff like that. So she talks about a lot of really interesting stuff. There's a little bit of humor if you know her from YouTube. It's got that same dry sense of humor that she, puts forth. You can really tell in her book. There are a few times where, y'all, sob crying, like, I don't know if I want to read this. When anything talks about kids, and she does talk about children for a very small part, it's towards the beginning. Y'all, my heart just didn't want to handle this. You know what I mean? Used to, I was able to, like, power through, but I feel like since I've had Lennon, like, my whole perception has changed in regards to that. And so, like, anything to do with kids, I find it, like, 10 times harder than it used to be to, like, get through those kind of chunks. So, I mean, this could be really triggering if you're not down with talking about, hearing about true death and dead bodies and such. This might not be for you. It reminded me a little bit, if I can ever find it, I will let you guys know because I would like to actually reread it. I read a book written by a coroner, and I believe that it was in Louisiana. If not, it was like in the South, because like for whatever reason I remember like this like window and like this swampy thing, and I don't know if that's where I read it at or if I was reading it and what I was imagining it looking like. It's one of those things, because it was a long time ago. Am I the only one that does that? Like, I'm like, was that from the book or was that real? Anyway, it was about a coroner and his experiences and like bodies that he had to process and things of that nature, and it kind of reminded me of that, only this was a little more cleaned up, right? Because it's a crematory, it's not a coroner going out in the field. So anyway, it was a little dark, but it was good for my soul in the end, and I think that's the big thing. So if you watch her on YouTube, you probably would like her book. If you haven't, maybe check her out, see what she's about, maybe then decide if you want to read or not, because it can be a little jarring, it can be a little triggering. So fair warning on that one, but I give it a 5 out of 5. If I'm being honest, I really did love it. Okay, sorry, had to reset here. Okay, so I started reading the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I started with Cinder. Okay. Let me describe the book first, and then I'll get into how I really feel. No. But I'll get into it. Okay. So here's Cinder. And I also read Scarlet. So I read the first 2 books. Sorry, this picture is like really... Look, there we go. Now, okay. So Scarlet and then Cinder. Okay. So I read the first 2. And basically, so we have Cinder. So yes, it's kind of like Cinderella. Scarlet, Avi. Oh, I'm really bad at this. Okay. Little Red Riding Hood, right? So, it goes through, I don't know if it's supposed to be like post-apocalyptic or like maybe like a post-war, because, okay, there's still places like Europe and the United States and I'm assuming it's like the Republic of China. So they too have a, I like my political things. So there's this like political thing, right? They don't really care for lunars who are on the moon, hence lunar. Because they seem to be really aggressive. They also have this glamour that they can portray themselves as whatever they want people to see, and can also manipulate, can like go in their head and manipulate them in many, many ways. So there's a lot of like unrest between Earth and the lunars, and there is a big influx of cyborg and AI, I guess. So there's a huge prejudice against cyborgs. Cinder happens to be a cyborg. We learned that very early on. She is a mechanic, and her shoe is like an old It's like an old part. So we have the idea of Cinderella in a very, very different way. Evil stepsisters, evil stepmother, still valid, although she was adopted or an orphan. So she really didn't even know her adopted father. He just kind of passed away. There's like a plague going on. All kinds of stuff. She does have a nice sister. Stuff happens. I'm not going to spoil it. But anyway, kind of goes through some sort of Cinderella story. So I do give it that. It's very different, but like our main points are still there. There's a ball, there's a shoe, there's a prince, and there's a girl named Cinder. So we find out a lot of stuff about her. We realize quite a few different things about her, and like she's finding these things out as we are. So I did kind of like that. Like, we're not left in the dark alone. She's in the dark, and she's like uncovering. It's like this big thing, right? So we kind of get her backstory. We get kind of what's going on, and then it abruptly ends. So then we go to Scarlet, and you guessed it, we have Little Red Riding Hood. Her grandmother is taken from her. There are these wolves that come in, and it's very strange. But these wolves do have a lot to do with this political climate. I will say that. But everything seems to tie into Cinder in the end. I feel like, I'm not sure, but I feel like that's kind of where these Lunar Chronicles are going. Like, Cinder is the main story, and everything is going to kind of go in. Okay, so let me tell you about this. Okay, so I read this, I found it, it was available, and I just wanted something else to listen to, and I was like, I kind of want to continue like a fairy tale thing. Like, I kind of want to listen to something that has like a vibe, you know, that fairy tale vibe. So I was like, I've been seeing it around, I've been seeing the covers, it kind of reminded me of that like whole like Twilight scene, and I was like, oh, I really don't know, you know what I mean, because I wasn't a huge fan of Twilight. I read the first 3, and then I had to stop. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into that, whatever. I was disappointed, but this one, I love the concept. Did I just spit? Oh, okay. So here's the thing about these Lunar Chronicles thus far. I am going to finish reading it because like I'm invested now. It's kind of like watching Once Upon a Time. I don't know if y'all have ever watched that with like the fairy tales. Like, it's really, I feel like it's really poorly done in certain ways. And everything is so convoluted, but like once you're in it, you're like, I have to know now. That's kind of how I feel with this. I love the concept. The idea is great for the most part. Like, the main story. It's just not done, like, up to where I want it to be. Like, it's like a couple degrees off of, like, being good. And it's not, like I said, it's not bad, but, like, I want it to be a higher level. Like, just 2 more ticks, you know, to the other side, and I feel like it would be just really, really good, instead of like, well, I guess I'm invested now. You know, like, oh, I'm kind of like bummed. But I do like it because they're quicker to listen to, and they're good fillers. So I dig that. Like, it's good to listen to while I'm in the middle of like waiting for something else bigger. So I will give it that. It is pretty good, but it's just not perfect. I mean, nothing ever is, right? Okay, so what's next? Oh, okay. So I read Warstorm, or I listened to Warstorm. I loved this whole series, and I really love the voice actors. The ones who read, these narrators, were phenomenal. I keep doing it. I really did enjoy, because like they can make or break it, you know, when you're listening to audiobooks, but I really did enjoy the way that they read, and just how it was produced. It was really good. Warstorm, I'm not going to go too much into detail because this is the final book, and if you are interested in reading this series, the Red Queen series, I don't want to spoil it because it really is worth the read. I would read them all over again. And I might one day because I love doing that. Anyway, this was really good. It was in the heat, obviously, of the war. So again, this is my political stuff that I really enjoy. The only kind of politics I enjoy is ones in books. There is a silver blood and a red blood. And the silvers have powers. These powers can be kind of anything. Usually in families, those are like a cluster. So they could manipulate metal or bring forth fire or water, or I don't know, they can like read your mind, kind of go in and dig in there. It's a bunch of different stuff. Anyway, so they can do that. Then the reds are just like regular people. They're servants. They're like the lower class. And the reds start developing these silver powers. However, they still have their red blood. So there's this like new breed coming out. Everything kind of goes haywire. The reds are trying to rise up, take the silvers out of power, make an even playing field, and war ensues, right? There are two princes who get caught up in a bunch of crap, and there's a huge tug of war between the two brothers and all these different factions. It's a lot. But it is really good. Like, I found it was done well. You can understand everything from start to finish. You go along with everybody. There's nothing... I didn't really find anything frustrating, you know? Because, like, sometimes it gets a little frustrating. Like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, I felt like the parts that we didn't know for a purpose. And it wasn't frustrating. It was just like, I can't wait to figure it out, you know? So, she did write this in such a way. Did I say who this was? Victoria Aveyard. Oh, it's too late. So being the last book, I didn't know where I wanted it to go. I didn't know how I wanted this series to end. I really didn't. And the way that it ended in a good spot. There's really nothing I would change. I just don't know if I like the way it ended. But, like, I don't know how else I would do it. You know what I mean? When it comes to stuff like this, I mean, it's a war. So there's going to be, like, things happening that you know you're not going to like. You know you're not going to agree with everything. There's just, like I said, I don't know how I wanted it to end. I'm not upset with the ending, but, like, I don't know if I like the ending. I don't know if I wanted it to be that way, but at the same time, like, such is life, right? So all in all, this whole series, I would give a 5 out of 5. This book in particular, there's a lot of war in it. There's a lot of stuff being developed. I would give it like a 4 out of 5 for this one, but in general, I'd give the whole series a 5 out of 5. Okay, next. I listened to Damned. This is by Chuck Palahniuk. I love his voices. Excuse me. And what I mean by that, he is the author of Fight Club, right? Really good book. I've read a bunch of his books. Really great book. I love the adaptation to film because the Tyler you hear in the film is the Tyler in the book. And something that I love is when movies, when they go verbatim from these dialogues in the book, I freaking love it. And there was so much. It was literally like they just took his words and put them on the screen. And I loved that. I loved it. So that's what got me hooked in the first place to his writing. And then I read a couple of his other ones. And again, those voices, like the voice of this first person narrative that he's done in so many of them, I loved. I don't know, there's just something about the way that he writes in this first person narrative that just sucks me in. This one, okay, here we go again. I actually bought, ages ago, Doomed. And that's what I was going to read in March. But I realized that it was the second in a 2-part series. It was Damned and then Doomed. So I said, well, let me find Damned. And they had it in an audiobook, so I listened to it. I started out not liking it. Because for the first time, his first-person narrative, I did not like the voice very much. I didn't. It's a 13-year-old rich girl who is prepubescent and chubby and very smart, but she likes to kind of throw that in your face, like, kind of like, I may be 13 and fat, but I know what the word whatever means. You know what I mean? Like, those were the kind of lines that they had in there, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I like her voice. And to be honest, I still don't know if I like her voice, but I ended up kind of falling into the story and was just like, okay, I'm with you. I'm here. So basically, this 13-year-old goes to hell, and she's writing letters to Satan. So it's, Dear Satan, are you there? It's me. And that's kind of where she goes. And she kind of talks about what she sees there, and it's like super gross, right? Like, there's like a sea of semen. There's like toenail clippings and like shit, and oh, it's gross. Like, it's gross, this like landscape of hell, right? So you get some rules of hell. She's like constantly going on about the demons. They're like locked up. This got this Breakfast Club vibe with all the people that are around her. I don't know. It was kind of fun. I am gonna go on. I'm actually started reading Doomed. I'm kind of digging this maybe a little bit better, maybe, but I don't know. Especially for like a Chuck Palahniuk, I feel bad, but like I might give it like a 2.5. Oh, seriously. I mean, it was okay. It was okay at best. Like, I'm down for it. I'm gonna finish reading the other one. But it wasn't my favorite. I guess because, like, I have this, like, perception of where his novel should be. And it didn't meet that. And I'm a little disappointed. Because it's such a distinct voice. Like, even in his, like, shitty characters, like, I still loved their voice. Choked was, like, one of those books where I really didn't like this dude. He, like, pretended to choke and would, like, get money off of people. This dude was a douche, but, like, I still liked the voice that he wrote it in. So, like, it's not even about what it is. It's not even about, like, who she is. It's about, like, the voice didn't match. Like, it wasn't where I wanted it to be. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep going. Oh my god, was that it? That was it. That's all that I read. Or listened to, I guess you'd say. Like, I listened to quite a bit. I listened to 4, read 2, I guess you could say. So, yeah. Any recommendations? Ones that I would say you need to go out and read? Smoke Gets in Your Eyes is probably the main thing. Like, if you get a chance, read that and the Red Queen series. Read that if you like stuff like that. I found that one to be top notch as far as like teen, like young adult series. I really enjoyed the Red Queen because I felt like there was like a real universe there. There was like a real world there, and I really, really liked it. All right, so what's going on for April? April, I have not chosen on my decks for April. Right now, the main one on my desk is the one that I just did my video on, which is the Line Striders. I don't know why, like, I'm just, like, really partial to it right now. I don't really know where I'm gonna go as far as decks are. I don't think I'm gonna have any kind of theme this time. Maybe I'll keep with the light colors. I don't know. Do I need a theme? I don't know. So I don't really know where I'm going there. Like I said, I am gonna try to do way more art. That's like one of my main goals for April. I am also planning on doing a lot in my grimoire because there was nothing done in March. Not even opened. Makes me sad. I'm hoping for quite a few pages in that. I think that's it. Like, I don't really know where I'm going in April, but I'm going, right? Like, we're doing this damn thing in April. So I'll be around. I'll come up with stuff. We'll do some fun things in April. I did start my spring cleaning, like I did show. We're like in the middle. We had to pause halfway. We got like half the house done. We're getting into the back half. That's a lot of like linens room. There's going to be a lot of going through. We want to do that together. Jacob's been in school. So that should be done. I'll be doing a video on that, kind of showing the sacred spaces around my house, talking to you about like what I do when I do my full spring like house cleaning, physical / spiritual cleansing. We're going to go through that. And yeah, we'll play around. We'll do something else cool. I hope. So I will talk to you guys very soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. If you're looking for me, I got all my links below. You can book a reading. You can check out my Etsy. You can see the Patreon, all that kind of good stuff, all down below. I love that you stuck this out with me. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. I'm sending you all my love. Mwah, 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 mwah. Bye, guys.